Everybody, and welcome to our week number 8 live stream for our intro psych class. This is our very last live stream that we have together as a class, which is just crazy. It's gone so quickly, and it's a windy day. We just got woken up a little bit by that emergency broadcast that went out over our phones, right, and computers and everything. So it's been eventful and it's hot for sure. So I hope everyone is doing well and hanging in there. What I want to do this week is just go over the final week of stuff that we have left together. So I'll talk a little bit about the exam and the closing assignment. And I will remind you of this quite a few times, but I'm going to put it in the chat already right now. Remember that our class officially ends Friday, October 6th at 11:59 p.m. Okay, so remember that our class ends this Friday night. So I know that's a little different than normal. Normally we end on Sundays for the week, but this week everything ends on Friday and the class is officially over Friday night. So of all weeks, it's very, very important that you get everything in before the deadline on Friday night. After that, the class will be over. So please, please make a note of that somewhere to yourself. But let's go ahead and head over to Canvas together and take a look at this week. We are right here. We're in the last week of our class. We're in week number 8. So hopefully you've already done week 7. If you haven't, it has been open up for you since last week. But let's take a look at what we have going on this week. So this week, week number 8, we are looking at chapter 15 and 16. So 15 is on the different therapies and 16 on social psychology. So make sure that you read the chapter in the ebook, read through the lecture, watch the lecture video, chapter, lecture video, 3 things as usual. You do have 2 discussions this week like you normally would. So let's take a look at those together. Discussion number 15, you have my instructions up here at the top in my video, like always. This one is related to therapy. So what are some stereotypes of therapy that you either have or you've heard? How might you describe the stereotypical therapist? What are some stereotypical things they might say or do? How would you describe them in their appearance? And then the biggest part of this question is this last bullet here. Using the textbook, lecture, and the website provided right here, if you were to ever consider going to therapy, which 2 therapeutic approaches would be your choices and why? And when you're describing them, I want you to describe at least 1 technique and 1 goal of both types of therapy. So make sure you're referencing specifics of the approach. What is their goal? How would they do that? Make sure you're elaborating. This is the part that's worth the most points. So definitely pick 2 things and then describe what they would be and what you would consider and so on. And then as always, don't forget to reply to a classmate. And then your very last discussion, the last discussion of the semester, discussion 16. If we take a look at that one really quickly. Again, my instructions and video, which hopefully you've been watching. With this one, we're looking at social psychology. So what I want you to do is perform 3 random acts of kindness or altruism. And these should ideally be unplanned and kind of random. They can vary from being something very small to something bigger. And then what you're going to do is describe the 3 acts, what you did, what were the reactions, what were your thoughts and reactions on your end. Then I want you to think of a time where you were a victim of prejudice or discrimination. This could be based on your age, race, ethnicity, orientation, gender, religion, ability, anything, right? I want you to briefly share what happened in your reactions. If you have never been a victim of prejudice or discrimination, which isn't super common, most of us have experienced something at some point, you could always write about the experience of somebody in your life, and that's totally fine. And then finally, what are some strategies that people can employ to help reduce prejudice and discrimination, which I covered in the lecture and also in the textbook. And as always, don't forget to reply not only to my post, but also to a classmate. In addition to your 2 chapters and 2 discussions, you do have your final exam this week. Now, exam number 4 is our final. They are one and the same. And it's not cumulative in any way. It's just on this last unit. So as always, this is on the ebook site. It's worth 75 points. All the same rules and things apply as the other exams. Really, again, of all weeks, make sure you take this one early, right? Don't wait until Friday night when the class is almost over. If you miss it, I will feel so bad for you if you email me Saturday or Sunday saying you missed it, but everything will be closed, so it'll be too late. So please make sure you get this done before Friday night. The study guide is right here as usual, and this one is on chapters 13, 14, 15, and 16. So just everything in these last 2 weeks. So as always, if it's on the study guide, make sure that you know it and you're familiar with it. If it's not, you don't have to worry about it and you can let it go. The only thing that we have this week that is a little bit different, and I want to spend some time talking about, is our closing assignment. So rather than giving you a cumulative final, I've always thought cumulative finals are the worst. I have a little like reflection paper for you to do as a way of kind of doing that cumulative element. So what you'll see here is here are the instructions. Here's a list of different concepts. And then here's a little sample submission. So there are 3 things. Let's look at the sample first, and then we'll go back and look at the other stuff. And what I want you to notice is that this actually follows a very distinct format. Rather than being like a traditional paper, you are picking a term or a concept, defining it, and then talking about how you could apply it to your life. And you're going to do that 5 different times. So that is kind of the main goal of this paper, is for you to see how you could take 5 different terms or concepts that we've covered and apply them to your life in some way. And I hope you have more than 5, but you only need to do 5 of them. And so that's what the sample would look like. I also put together a little list of concepts. If you are overwhelmed by how many things we've covered, what I did is gave you kind of like the key ideas and terms for each chapter. So this might be a good starting point. You could kind of look through this and be like, oh, yeah, when we talked about mnemonics, that's something I can use in an exam, or the spacing effect, I could use that to help me study, right? So you could look over this list and kind of get an idea. And when you're ready to do it, here's the actual assignment where it says closing assignment instructions. And so if you were to click on that, it'll bring up the assignment. And up here at the top, it says Start Assignment. This is where you're actually going to submit that. And you'll click on this button and it'll bring up a spot for you to submit. But it is worth 25 points. It's due by this Friday night at 11:59 p.m. when our class officially ends. And you are uploading a file. So for this paper, what I want you to do is think about all of the things that we've covered in this class. And you're going to pick 5 specific topics or concepts that you could use to apply to your life. And just like I showed you in that sample, you'll list the term and then you will define it. And the definition can be copied and pasted from our textbook. That's totally fine. You're going to define it. If you can't find a definition, maybe pick a different term or concept. The points that you're really earning here are on the application. What I'm looking to see is that you can take a term or idea or topic and apply it to your own life in some way, that you can use it, like it could help guide you in a real life situation. So you'll do this for each term, definition, application, and you'll repeat it 5 times. I'd like you to number your examples 1 through 5. It should be roughly like 2 pages or so, like standard margin, standard font, and so on. You're going to be attaching it right here. I did give you a rubric. It's worth 25 points. In general, if you do this all correctly, you'll get 25 points. If you didn't give me enough detail or maybe don't follow the instructions all the way, you get 20 or 15 and so on. But I'm looking to see here that you can, again, kind of reflect back, pick out some things that we've covered, and apply them to your life in some way. And you are submitting this right here through the Start Assignment link. Okay. The only other thing that you have this week is there is a little bit of an anonymous class survey. It's totally anonymous. I have no idea who said what, but if you have any feedback from me, I would love it. I'm always trying to make this class better. So if you have any feedback about the class, things you loved, things you hated, please take a little bit of time to fill that out. It's not worth any points, but I would love to hear your thoughts. I know it's a quick class, only 8 weeks, but I am always trying to improve. And I will give you the extra credit here in a moment. I do have a couple of reminders for you. I know it's the last week, but if you could take one more opportunity just to make sure you're still subscribed for our time that we have together today, or if you're watching this later, you can still get those extra credit points and respond if you are subscribed. Thank you so much to those of you who did this all semester long. I really appreciate that. It saved me some time, and thank you. I appreciate it. The other reminder, I'm going to put it in here one more time. Our class officially ends Friday, October 6th at 11:59 p.m. Okay, so I know that I've said that a couple of times, but somebody is going to miss it. I'm going to just keep reminding you. I will send out an announcement on Thursday, tomorrow, as another reminder. But just please be aware our class ends on Friday night instead of Sunday. So make sure that you're on it. Let me give you our last extra credit question so that you can answer that. And a lot of you have taken advantage of these, which I think is fantastic. This is the week number 8 Twitch extra credit question. Okay, let me put this here in the chat. If someone had a phobia of heights, what are 2 methods that could be used for treatment, and explain? So if someone had a fear or a phobia of heights, what are some treatments that you could be using? 2 of them, please explain and describe. So when you're ready to answer that, you'll go back to Canvas and you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 8, since we're in week number 8, our last week together. Up at the top, click on start assignment, and then you can type your response right here and go ahead and hit submit. Okay. And again, a lot of you have done this all semester, which is fantastic. I'm glad that you have taken advantage of that opportunity. I really appreciate all of you who have been on here weekly with me, or those of you who are watching it later if you couldn't make it live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the class. If you did, you are always welcome to join me. I do teach research methods online, which is another psychology class, or I teach abnormal psych and human sexuality in person if you'd like to join me in person. But thank you all so much for a wonderful class. Still got a couple of days left, got some stuff to do, so finish everything up. But I will hang out for a little while. If you do have any questions for me, I am happy to answer them. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful week, a wonderful day. Good luck with the rest of the class and the rest of your semester. And again, thank you all so much for a really nice short 8-week class together. So I'm going to minimize this just so I'm not staring at myself, but I will hang out for a little bit if you do have any questions for me. Otherwise, make sure you get going on the stuff for this week, and I will hopefully see some of you in classes in the future. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you. Thank you as well, Tanner. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you as well. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful semester, the rest of it, and have a happy holidays when they get here, right? It's almost Halloween. It's finally October. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Joshua. Have a wonderful day. And I am still here if any of you do have any questions. I'm hanging out for a few minutes. Otherwise, good luck on everything for this week. And you can always email me if you think of something later, of course.